A very warm welcome to each one of you to the virtual session of science. So let us continue with the chapter Reproduction in Plants, chapter 12, part 5. What are we going to do today? Let us see, and I hope you are writing the important concepts. You need to underline the important terms so that you remember it easily. You have to remember them easily. You can highlight, you underline those important terms so that the definitions, the concepts are clear. You have to draw those diagrams which are being mentioned in the session for you so that the concepts are clear. Let us see what are we going to do today. We will see how the male gametes reach the female gametes in plants. Since we have learned about the male reproductive parts in plant and we have seen the female reproductive parts in plants. So you have seen stamen is the which has anther, and you have seen the parts of the male reproductive parts we have seen, and also female reproductive part, that is pistil, which has stigma, style and ovary. All that parts we have seen. So now let us see in this session how the male and female gametes, how male gametes will reach to the female gametes in plants. Do write this subheading in your notebook so that under this head we are going to learn the male and female gametes fuse and form a zygote, as I told you in the previous session. The male gametes reach the female gametes by the process of pollination. So, pollination is the process by which pollen grains get fused with the female reproductive parts. How they travel, how they the process by which they reach the ovary, the eggs of the female. So you have self pollination, cross pollination, all that we will see later. So it is a process of the pollens getting fused with the male reproductive part, that is eggs. So how it will reach to the female part, that is a process, is a pollination process. The pollen grains have a tough covering which allows them in surviving the different climatic conditions. So naturally it has to be tough. It has to bear all those harsh conditions. If it dies in when it is traveling from one flower to the other flower, or in a harsh condition, if pollens are not able to survive, then the reproduction process will be hampered. Reproduction in plants will not happen. So it has a tough covering which allows them in surviving the different climatic conditions. And fourth point, due to their lightweight, winds and water often carry them to different plants. So this is how they are being carried. Sometimes the pollen grains also get attached to the insects which carry them to different flowers. You must have seen insects on the flowers. So when insects are traveling on their feet, these pollens are very tiny. They get stick to their feet or in their body parts, and then they are being carried from one flower to the other, because insects travel from one place to another. They will travel from one flower to the other. So in their feet or in their body parts, they get pollens get attached, and then it is dislocated from one place to the other flower, and there it will uh, do the process of reproduction. So this is how pollen grains are being carried. The agents can be water, winds or insects. The process of transfer of pollens from one stigma to another is called pollination. So this is a proper definition. Please underline, it is a process of transfer of pollen grains from stigma to another is called pollination. From one stigma to another. I hope this is very clear with you. Please take this down. So now over here you can see the pollination process, pollen movements. You can see left hand side you will see the section of a flower, and a parent one you can see over here which has filament and anther inside, and from the anther the pollen movement you can see from one flower to the other flower, that is pollination. It will go to the stigma of the other flower. It will go from one flower, that is parent one. The male organ, reproductive organ, that is anther, will carry pollens. Those pollen grains, by some means, by wind by water or by in some insects. They are going to carry it to the stigma, that is the female reproductive part of the other flower. This is how pollination will happen. So from the male part of one flower, pollens from the male part of the one flower will get transferred to the uh, female reproductive organ of the other flower, that is stigma. And it has style, and ovary style is again a tube-like structure. Pollens will fall inside and then it will reach to the ovary, where it will merge with the eggs inside. So parent 2, same species as parent 1. So here you can see how pollination will happen. I hope this is very clear with you all children. Let us go ahead. There are two types of pollination. You need to write this. Self-pollination. What is self-pollination? That is also called as autogamy. That means when the pollen grains land on the stigma of the same flower. It can happen. Yes, so the possibility it will always happen that the pollen grains can fall on the stigma of its own flower. Here you can see the diagram, the section which you have seen. The pollen grains, high chances of the pollen grains of the same flower can fall on the stigma of the same flower. So this is self, that is also called as autogamy. What is cross pollination? That is also called as xenogamy, where when the pollen grains land on the stigma of a different flower, so whether of similar kind or different kind, so where it is going and where it is falling, that is the natural process. It can fall on the similar type of flower, it can fall on a different type of flower, and this is called cross pollination. That's why you have so much varieties of flowers, different colors, different species, and they're beautiful, different fragrance they have. It depends upon how they are being pollination happen and how the reproduction process happen naturally. Please do write this in your notebook children. So now here you can see the diagram of self pollination and cross pollination. On the left hand side you see self pollination from the same plant but different flower. Here you can see children, here you have same flower plant but different flowers. One single plant can have more than one flower, definitely. It is not always one plant will have one flower. No, it can have multiple flowers. Number of flowers can be more. So they can have many flowers in a plant. So it can happen that self pollination from same plant but different flowers. And on your right hand side you see cross pollination from different plant. So if you take uh, the left hand side plant, the flower of the left hand side plant uh, can involve in the pollination process, and the pollens from the left hand side flowers can go to the flower of the another plant. So it is from one plant to another plant. That is called as cross pollination. That here you have two different plants involved. And self pollination means self with the same flower. And first thing, self pollination with the same flower. The plant which you see over here, the flower of the same plant, the same flower can undergo, that is autogamy, which you have learned just now. Autogamy, where self pollination can happen, and the same flower, the bisexual flower, where it has male and female reproductive parts both, where they will have anther and pistil, that is stamen and pistil together. So there high possibility of the same flower pollination can happen, that is autogamy. Cross pollination between two different flowers of the same plant or from one plant to the other, that becomes the cross pollination. So self pollination from the same plant but different flower. self-pollination with the same flower. All these different types of pollination, majorly you have to see self-pollination and cross-pollination. So self-pollination can happen from same plant but different flower. A self-pollination can happen with the same flower. Cross-pollination from different plant. These three concept you need to understand. You make a note in your book under self-pollination and cross-pollination. Write down points. Self-pollination can happen from same plant but different flower. Self-pollination can happen with the same flower of the same plant, and cross-pollination can happen from different plant. This is how the pollination process takes place. Well, let us see fertilization process. What happened after pollination? The further process is required after the transfer of the pollens. Let us see what happened after that. So a zygote is formed as the fusion between male and female gametes occurs. So they will fuse together and they will form a zygote. The fusion together is called a zygote. This process of formation of the zygote is called fertilization. Underline this. It is a process of the formation of the zygote, which is a fusion of a male and a female gametes. Then the zygote develops and turns into an embryo. So embryo is actually a baby seed. So a zygote is formed and the process is called as fertilization, and this zygote will develop into an embryo. Please take down all these points in your notebook. This is the fertilization process, which is extremely important. Just transferring of pollens from one plant to other of by a plant itself to the same flower is not going to reproduce new plants. Fertilization is an extremely important process in sexual reproduction of plants. Now here you will draw this diagram where you will see the internal structure of where in the pistil inside what happened exactly. This is the diagram which we will draw in the notebook. What happened inside the pistil, that is the female reproductive part, once the pollen grain lands on the stigma. So here you can see pollen grain germinating. It gets stick to the stigma, and you see the ovum, that is the ovary, which contains eggs. So pollen tube will have the pollen grain, which you will see on the left hand side, is going to travel through the pollen tube, and it will get fused inside once it reaches the ovary, and it will meet inside the ovary. Inside will have eggs, and a pollen grain or one single pollen grain will go and meet with one single egg inside the ovary, and the merging and the fusion will give you a zygote, that is a zygote formation. So this is the internal structure of the pistil, that is a female reproductive part, where the pollen grain is landed and how it travels through the pollen tube. So please draw this diagram. Both the diagrams show the pollen get attached on the sticky surface of the stigma, then it travel through the pollen tube, and then it is getting merged with the ovum inside, that is the female gametes, that is the egg inside the ovary. I hope you are drawing these, children. Now how fruits and seeds are formed. Let us see after fertilization what process happens which leads to the formation of seeds. After the fertilization process, the ovary of the flowers grows and develops into fruit. So what happened after fertilization? The ovary which has eggs inside the ovary of the flowers grows, because the eggs inside are fertilized and they develop into a fruit, and the remaining parts of the flower fall off. So where the remaining parts go, they all fall off, and the ovules develop and form the seeds of the fruits. The embryo is enclosed inside the seeds. So inside the seeds, what you see is the embryo. And some fruits are fleshy and juicy, such as mango, apple, and orange. Some fruits are hard, like almonds and walnuts. So this is how fruits and seeds are formed. Formation of fruits and seeds, just have a look on this where you can see in the diagram. You can see for your knowledge, you can just go through this. Here you have a ovary containing ovule. You have a master plant with flowers where fertilization occurs. So ovary containing ovule. First you can start from the seed. Here inside you see embryo. Then that will germinate. That is called as seeding. Then a master plant will grow with flowers where fertilization occurs. Then again it will have ovary containing ovule. And then it will have fruits containing seeds. This is a cycle which continues in a life cycle of a plant. So, in a life of a plant, this cycle will continue. So, whichever you start from, wherever the cycle will continue. If you take a master plant and then you start, this process will go on, and this is how you get fruits and seeds. Just to have an idea about the formation of fruits and seeds, children. Thank you, children. I hope you are making points and drawing the relevant diagrams which are mentioned in the video for you to draw. Thank you again and have a wonderful day.